There is a silent war that rages inside every human being, a battle unseen by the eyes but felt deeply in the soul. It is the battle between fear and freedom. Every dream that has ever been born, and every dream that has ever died, has been a witness to this fight. It is not a battle fought with swords or shields, but with choices, choices made in the quiet spaces of our minds. Fear whispers. It tells you to stay where you are, to not reach too high, to not believe too much. It reminds you of every time you've fallen, every scar you carry, every moment you dared and were met with disappointment. It speaks in a language so familiar that most of us confuse it with wisdom. It sounds like caution, like realism, like survival. But fear, though dressed as a friend, is the greatest thief of life. It steals the possibility of who you could have been. It suffocates the boldness in your heart and replaces it with hesitation. Freedom, on the other hand, calls in a voice softer but stronger. It doesn't scream, it invites. It speaks to the deepest parts of you, the parts you sometimes try to forget because they are too wild, too big, too beautiful. Freedom reminds you that you were not born to live in a cage built by doubt and insecurity. You were created to stretch your wings, to taste the winds of destiny, to live a life that sets your soul on fire. The tragedy is that most people will never know what true freedom feels like. They will spend their days decorating their cages, making their fears comfortable, convincing themselves that this is what life is meant to be. And yet, inside them, a small voice will always wonder, what if? What if you had tried? What if you had believed? What if you had trusted the poor inside you more than the fear outside you? Fear thrives in the unknown. It paints terrible pictures of what could go wrong. It exaggerates the risks and hides the rewards. It paralyzes you by making you imagine the worst possible outcomes, even when reality has not yet written the story. Freedom, however, breathes in the unknown. It sees possibility where fear sees threat. It sees opportunity where fear sees danger. It understands that risk is not the enemy of life. It is the very thing that gives life its meaning. There comes a moment in every life when you stand at the edge of who you are and who you could become. In that moment, fear will scream for you to turn back. It will throw every failure, every rejection, every heartbreak in your face. It will demand that you play small to stay safe. And in that moment, you will have a choice. Not an easy choice, but a defining one. Will you bow to fear and stay confined, or will you step into the unknown and claim the freedom that has been waiting for you? Freedom is not the absence of fear. It is the mastery of fear. It is choosing to move forward even when your knees are trembling, even when your heart is pounding, even when your mind is telling you 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't. Freedom is the decision to live by vision, not by memory, by faith, not by doubt. Every great life you have ever admired was shaped not by a lack of fear, but by the courage to walk through it. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the rebellion against it. It is saying, I will not let fear have the final say in my life. You have within you a fire more powerful than the storms of fear that rise against you. But that fire needs your permission to burn. It needs your belief. It needs your decision. You are stronger than you know, braver than you feel, and closer than you realize to the life you were born to live. Do not let fear make you a prisoner of your own potential. Do not let it steal the sunsets you haven't seen, the dreams you haven't touched, the songs you haven't sung. Choose freedom. Even when it costs you comfort. Even when it demands everything familiar. Because on the other side of fear is not just the life you want, it is the person you were meant to become. The battle between fear and freedom will not end once and for all. It will be fought every day, in 1,000 tiny decisions. But every time you choose freedom, every time you step forward instead of shrinking back, you weaken fear's grip and strengthen your own soul. You were not made to live afraid. You were made to live free.